Hello. Oh my God. Hello, everyone. Hello, ladies. Hello, all of those who have decided to join us. This is Yvonne McBride. This is my very first live. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So this is Yvonne McBride Lit Life. In this space, we inspire women of the African and Indigenous diaspora to go for their dreams, to live their dreams, to create the dreams of their life, whether that is writing dreams or travel dreams or any dreams that you um, have been thinking of. This is the space for you. If those dreams include you writing and traveling, today is a special day. I have my fellow writer and traveler here, Keyoka Kinzy, otherwise known as the Awkward Black Nomad. She
Hi.
is she is going to bless us with all her knowledge and all her experiences, all her adventures. So yes, that's why we are here today. I'm so excited to have her. Hi, Keyoka.
Hi. Hi. So happy to be here. I'm Keyoka, the Awkward Black Nomad. I'm a writer. I'm a dog mom. I'm a solo traveler. Last year, I took my dogs with me to 10 countries. I went to 12, two by myself, but 10 countries with my dogs. If you want to know how to do that, follow me, the Awkward Black Nomad, on YouTube.
Yes, you see her moniker there. We will get into all her fabulousness, and we're going to begin at the beginning, right? So before you began this journey, what inspired you? What was your motivation to change your life, basically, to take that first step and to step out on faith into adventure? And that's, I mean, before you found the community, before you found the groups, right? What was that itch? What gave you that need, that desire to go through with this change?
Well, for starters, I didn't want to do none of that. Okay, I was in my content, safe bubble. When I was very young, I wanted to go to Japan. Very specifically, I was into anime and like I was teaching myself Japanese. But sometime after high school, I think life has a way of just kind of stamping your dreams out of you. And so I was hit with a lot of like, I don't think you can do that. Basically, subliminal, like this, that's what people say. Like, I don't think you could do that. I don't think that's possible.
So were they telling you this, or were you just getting this from society cues, right?
Well, I had one friend be like, I don't know if that's realistic, and I think like you hold on to these kind of doubt that other people have, and they become your own doubts. And
Hmm.
so when I was at the beginning of my journey, I didn't have any desire to leave the country because I was just like, that's not the life for me. I would never have access to that life. Um, and then in 2022, I felt like I was suffocating. So my mom passed away. I had three really big deaths in the span of a summer.
Yeah.
And my mom passed away, and then I don't know, I think the loss of a parent is so magnanimous that like you you fail to see the importance of everything. Like I was in this master's program, I was on track to get my master's that summer, and then I lose my mom. It is just a piece of paper.
Yes.
It's just that fast. It just became a piece of paper. Me working my job, and I was like hustling. Like I was working two full-time jobs and putting myself through school, and I was ambitious. All of my ambition kind of faded away. It was like, why am I working so hard? Because the only reason I'm working so hard is so my mama could brag about me to her friends, or my mama could say, well, my daughter is successful,
Or to
right?
make you proud, right?
Well,
Because
yeah, to make her proud.
proud.
But
Yeah.
exactly. But it wasn't because I wanted to do those things. And so I really sat and thought about, well, what do I want? Because at this point, I've been living my life for almost an idea of what I thought like an okay Black girl look like,
Right.
right? Like, what does it look like to be not just exceptional, but like, what does it look like to be thriving? What does it look like to be? And there was this shift in my ideology, right? So I kind of had to change the way I thought my life would go, because I didn't find any value in much of anything after losing my mama. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship, and I ain't like that man. I didn't like that man. And
You were tolerating him. Okay.
it was literally, I was doing the things that I thought I was supposed to be doing, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, this is he a good man, Savannah. He said he gonna marry me. He said he gonna put me in a house I don't gotta work.
Right.
And
You're
I
just
really
going
didn't
around. You're just checking off the
check
boxes
the
with
boxes.
social. Right. Exactly.
Right, like checking my boxes off. And
Yeah.
so then it was like I lose my mom and I'm like, I don't want none of this stuff. I don't want to be here. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want-
Mm-hmm.
And then I find the Exodus Summit community, and I found, a bunch of women living life on their terms and redefining what that looked like, right? So
Yeah.
like, they're not some of them are hustlers, right? But in a different way. Like, they're hustling for their passion, and
Right.
they're going abroad, they're traveling, they're doing these things I never saw Black women doing on their own. And
Right.
I was like, well, how do I get into that? Like, what do I
Right. And I experienced the same thing after my mother passed. She passed in 2016. And although I had already began my freedom life, I wasn't working like a regular job. I had already, began my off the grid, do what I want to do life. After that, I'm like, okay, what what is this? What is the future? What does the future hold? What does it look like, and how to create it? Because like you look at different you look at your examples, right? You look at your parents, your aunts, your people in your family, and what they did to make a living, and what their life looked like, and what a good life entails and means to them, right? So you're working towards that. But then after she passed, I'm like, all right, for real, this is not this is not I'm never going back to a regular job. I'm not doing that. So how can I create this life that I want? What does that life look like, number one? And how can I create it? What steps do we go about creating it? All right. I knew I loved travel, like you. I had not been a lot of places. I had been, the normal places, Caribbean, a few Mexico, places like that. But I wanted to live that life. So yes, same. We are a different generation, but
are
same.
we? I can't tell the way your skin popping. I don't know. A
We
black woman could be 15 or 60. I have no idea.
My knees will tell the tale. Anyway, okay. Anyway, so when did you start traveling? Well, wait, for backup. Yeah, let's start with there. When did you start?
Yes, so playing from I not Alexa trying to blow the spot up. I started traveling January of 2023.
Okay.
I just packed my dogs up and was like, okay, we getting out of here. I had planned for, I would say I probably planned like 6 months before we actually left. I started planning.
Okay. And planning entailed, did you create an itinerary, or did you like go off the cusp? How did you plan to get out?
Yeah, so like I have one of those massive like OCD like brains. So I created like a spreadsheet. I created like a very, very detailed, this is what we're going, like breaking it down by the day.
Oh, that's intense. That's intense.
Isn't it? Isn't it too much? In hindsight, it was too much. But I was trying to get myself excited for the
Okay.
idea of this, and then also like um stealing myself from the if I can't do it,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah, so I had like this ginormous itinerary that broke down where I would be in every month, in days, like activities that I like to do, what kind of restrictions they had for dogs. So I knew my dogs would be coming with me. And yeah.
So
I
this
kind of
requires a lot of research. This required, if you had a daily to-do list and what activities and all of that, that required a lot of research. How long did you
So
research?
much. I researched a lot. It was an ongoing research. Like I would build out. I would spend like a few days or sleepless nights in a manic state. But I would spend like a few days researching like a country and
Uh,
like, okay, well, like, you know, what's the best city for, you know, a person for dogs? Like, what's the best city? Because something I had to learn about myself was I actually don't like to be in a very big, bustling city. I like to be just outside of it because I
okay.
like to commute in. So finding out where people were staying, the cost of accommodations, getting reviews together, like, so it was bigger than things to do. And to be fair, I'm saying I broke it down by the day. Some of these days was just sleep, right? Rest, find a coffee shop, like very simple.
Right.
And I also found
Not you
places
planning
to
your
eat.
rest. Yes, plan your rest. Yes.
You had better plan your rest. I'm a
Yes.
big proponent of napping. uh the first week in a new place is rest and reorientation. You need to figure out your body needs to adjust to a new
Yes.
environment.
Yes.
So sleep and find snacks.
Yeah.
So even on my itinerary, I would have like places that I wanted to try, nearby cafes that I wanted to go to. Where's the nearest grocery store so I can be able to, like, when I touch down, get supplies for my dogs, stuff like that.
So okay, so these cities, these towns, these countries, when you started off your list, what region were you going to? What were they?
Well, I know it was Europe.
Okay.
So I had been to London, I think the beginning of 2022. And I just stayed for a week. Child, just being a bird, being a bird. I tell the story on my YouTube channel. I won't tell it again, child. But being a bird, I went to London for a week. I really liked London. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll go back to the safe place, right? Like, they
Yes.
speak English there. It is a bustling city. I loved it. I'll go back there. So we actually, oh, but so I wanted to go to, the goal was to get to the UK, but I knew bringing the dogs in, there's some issues bringing dogs in. So I was very afraid to bring my dogs in cabin, and I wanted
Okay.
to bring them in cargo. So I wanted to bring them in
Put them in
cabin.
cargo, but you didn't want to. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to. And so I could fly into Ireland with the dogs in cabin. So that's what we did. So we flew into Ireland, and then we took a ferry to go into the UK, and then took a train to get to London. So it was originally London. We stayed there for like maybe like 2 months, 2, 3 months ish. We were going to go to France and stay longer in France, but there was rioting at that time. So I had to kind of adjust my plans. Not the
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
me. So I had to adjust my plans. So we ended up staying in London a little bit longer. Then I took another ferry to get into France, rented a car, drove from the tip of France down to the bottom of France into
Mhm.
Spain.
Okay.
And then we stayed in Spain for 3 months. I probably stayed a couple weeks in France. Like, we went to Paris, went to Orleans because I'm from New Orleans, so I had to go see. And then we drove down into Toulouse. We stayed in Toulouse. I would love to go back to Toulouse.
Okay.
So yeah, so then we went to Spain, stayed in Spain for the summer. Then I hopped out, went to Albania, stayed in Albania for a few months. Then Denmark, Austria, um, Germany. I stayed in Germany for a few months. Um, I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting, child. It's like going to so many countries, you forget where you've been.
So I know some. You've been to London, Albania, Barcelona, Denmark, Germany, South Africa, Morocco. So these are some of the countries that you've been to. I met you in Morocco at the
In Morocco.
Exodus. That's where we met at the Exodus Summit meetup. We will get into what that is and who they are in the group later, but that's where I met you. So at that time in Morocco, how far were you into your trip? Into
And
your
Morocco what, the end of February, beginning of April. So I had been traveling, I think, no, beginning of March.
I don't know.
Either,
It
well,
was
oh,
April. It was April. It
but
was
I think it was,
April.
but I think at that point I had been traveling for like a couple of months. So it was probably
Okay.
like,
Early on. Okay.
yeah. So, but it's actually I got a really good price for the flight because flying from London into Morocco is cheaper than it would have been if I had
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
been somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you also hop over to Portugal with us, or did you stay in Morocco?
I didn't. I dipped my toe into Portugal later on when I was in Spain because I was like, I'm in Spain. I can't. I have to go see Portugal. I have to go. Everybody's talking about Portugal. I have to go dip a toe in and go see. But I couldn't stay that long because I had my dogs with me, and I didn't want to bring them. So I ended up getting like a little pet sitter while I was in Spain, and then going into Portugal for just a few days.
Okay. So how long were you in? Where was your longest stay?
My longest in total, probably Albania, because I was there for about 6 months. So I went to Albania for the first time in July and stayed until I think through September. And
Okay.
then I went back again January of this year and stayed until April.
Oh, you went this year. Okay. I thought you just stayed last year. So you like Albania then? What about Albania brought you back?
People aren't gonna get it. People aren't gonna get. But part of it is, I think part of it is me being an introvert.
Okay.
And if
She
you,
okay, pause. She said she's an introvert. We don't believe it, but go ahead. Uh-huh.
oh my god. Anyways, I think I like it because if you can really get past people staring at you, like, oh my god, there's a black person. It's such a chill place, and you really feel like It's one of those places where you can get lost in and you can have a normal life, right? Like you get into your routines. Like it was one of those places where I felt like, oh, I could live here. Like I could do this.
And
You
have autonomy. You wanted autonomy
know?
and not being overwhelmed with people.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like the staring is a big deal, right? Like it really does bother people. And so I understand it. They're not I don't believe that Albanian people are staring because, like what you doing here? They're staring because like, oh my God.
Out
Like
of curiosity, basically.
out of curiosity. They're like, what are you doing here? Like, they've been isolated for a very long time.
Did
And
any of them
so
approach you and ask you what were you doing there? Like,
some of them,
okay.
some of them, like if I was sitting at a cafe, I mean, I think it helps if you know some words in their language. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you for joining us. Hi.
But I think it helps if you know a little words, know a few words in their language. But like when I used to drop some ship, their language is ship. When we used to drop some ship, they'd be like, you speak Albanian? Like
Drop some what? What is their language?
it's called ship.
Shit. Yes, please, y'all. She did not cuss. She was talking about their language. You're my first visitor, Tracy.
Hi, love to see it.
Yeah, so they were more friendly. And I think that's where anywhere you go, if you know a little bit of the language, you try to use the language, they will, people will be more
People
welcome.
gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're interested in my culture. You want to know more about, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. I like it's just very simple in Albania. It's just very simple. People aren't I haven't had that experience where like people have been aggressive with me.
Okay.
I haven't had experiences where I felt unsafe. And then it's just a gorgeous place, right? So like if you get out of the bigger city in Albania is Tirana. But if you get out of Tirana and you go to the mountains, of Barat, or you go down south to the beaches, it is like breathtaking, like very peaceful. It's underdeveloped. They are building. So like don't be surprised when you get there and you're like, these are some shanties, like this is sketch. Like I didn't tell you. They have some places in Albania that
it was a first world economy place. country.
Exactly. That's not what I said. They have some people, they are building the economy up, um, which is a separate conversation. But they have some places that are like really nice. But yeah, for the most part, it's kind of like it's mid, you know.
Okay.
But it's really for the experience. You know, if you want a simple life, if you want like to really immerse yourself easily into a culture, um,
That's the
I'll
place.
go to Albania.
You like
Yeah,
Albania.
I
Okay.
like.
So I know my favorite. You said you stayed on a beach in Barcelona,
I did
beachside.
stay on the beach. I stayed very close to the beach. In
I love
she
a beach.
lives for a
I
beach.
love a beach.
She
Yes. So this is where I'm trying to let you talk about Albania, but I want to get into the beach.
to get to the beach.
Barcelona.
I was on the
Yes.
beach in Albania,
How
but
was
it's not as nice. Yeah, so I stayed in a section of Barcelona called Barceloneta, which is like I think the beach is like man-made. So like at nighttime, they actually push the sand down.
really?
And yeah, I found out that they do that. But it's beautiful. You
Okay.
know, it's very beautiful to get up in the morning and like literally be footsteps away from the beach. Like you're walking, it's less than a 10-minute walk to get on the beach, you
Okay.
know. And I don't like a lot of people, so I would go in the morning when the sun was coming up. And I had the beach to myself for like a good
Wow.
4 5 hours. It was very nice.
Wow. That sounds like wonderful. Oh my God. That sounds like heaven. How long did you stay in Barcelona?
I stayed in Barcelona 2 months. 2 months. I was there for my birthday in June. Saw Beyonce. Yes. Um,
We pause. We are okay. I don't want to get anybody in this chat. I don't want to get into this. I know she's your girl. I know that's your inspiration.
what's about to happen?
I travel. I travel for concerts too. I approve you going to Barcelona to see me. I approve it. I approve it. I know it was what the first leg of the tour.
Yeah, it was. So we got a different experience in Europe. I'm
Yeah.
kind of mad that I didn't get the US experience, but I had a nice time.
Yes, of course you
Yeah,
did.
I had a
Yeah.
really nice time.
Yes, and we will. I guess we will link her experience with the concert in this video because we don't have enough time to get into that. But yes, Barcelona saw the B, and how did you feel the town was there?
It was it was not for me.
Uh,
I Everybody
okay,
loves Barcelona and I love parts of it.
okay, tell the truth. Okay,
I like Spain, right? But I
right.
think in Spain, it's just so important where you're staying, right? Because I was staying in a very touristy area where there was like a lot of young people and a lot of partying, right? So
Okay,
this was the first location where I realized I really don't like to be in the
yeah,
center of things.
yeah.
You know, so like on one hand, I was really close to the beach.
Loud. Mm-hmm.
On one hand, I was really close to the beach, but on the other hand, I was around like a lot of rah rah. Like people would get up in the middle of the night and be partying. There's one video on my channel where I talk about like it was 8 a.m. and these people outside with trombones. They got they got drums. They having a
Where
whole
you
parade.
from? Where you from?
I'm from New Orleans. I understand. I understand.
Yes, you from the New Orleans. How you not like the 8 o'clock trombones outside your window?
I don't like it back home either. I don't like it back home either.
Okay.
People try to sleep, or people try to. In my case, I'm awake, but I'm trying to have my quiet mornings. I like to sleep.
Okay.
I like to drink my coffee. Like I don't want to do all that. So it's just like there's a very youthful population. Like if you like to club, if you like to go out, that's where you go, right?
I got you. I
I
feel
feel
that way
like
about San Juan. Old San Juan when you go to Puerto Rico. That's where the kids go. It's loud. It's clubs everywhere. I don't want to stay there. I want to be on some other, part of the island, quiet, casual. Yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
I just need something chill. I need something chill.
Yeah.
But I
So
like the city of Barcelona. Like I love the architecture. I love the museums. I like
yes,
the scenery.
yes, you can do
Now
a day trip. You can do day trips into the city.
100%,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So, hi, Monique. If you are here, I see we have 4 viewers. Thank you for joining for my first live. If you are here, please introduce yourself. Please come in the chat and say hi. Black people speak when they come into the room, right? Is that what I told you? So, if you are here and if you are a subscriber, please say hello. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe and like this video so we can tell the algorithm that this is the content that people need to see.
Yes.
Hey, okay. So Barcelona, go back to Barcelona. Food. How was the food?
The food was good. I love paella.
Yes. Yes.
I love
Authentic
paella.
paella. Yes.
Yinka. Have you read Yinka? Where's your husband?
No, I have not.
There's somebody in the chat named Yinka.
Oh, hi, Yank. Hi. It's my friend. Look at all my friends in the chat. Thank y'all. Hello. Hello, Deb. I don't have my glasses on, but I believe that says, oh, hi, that's my godmother. Look at my people in here.
And we love to see it.
Thank you for joining us.
We love to see it. Hello.
So we're talking about paella in Barcelona.
I love paella. There's a squid ink paella that I had in Valencia. Oh my god, it was delicious.
You said squid?
The seafood.
Ink squid.
Squid ink. Like it was black. It was this black paella.
Oh,
and it was delicious.
Okay.
Like, one thing about Barcelona, the seafood is so good and fresh.
Okay, what do you mean by I have a Dane question? What does that mean?
Like a Great Dane, Yinka?
We don't know what the Dane question is. Can you elaborate, please, ma'am?
Should she elaborate?
I'm assuming that she knows what she's talking about, so yes.
I'm worried, so I don't know if she should elaborate.
Okay, so the food, you said the squid ink was fabulous.
Squid ink was fabulous. The really good ramen, which is strange. Yeah, like very good Asian food. I think in order to get the good food, you have to get out of the tourist areas and probably go for something I don't want to say ethnic, but like go for like
local, regional. Yes.
Right. Like but yeah, randomly, really good paella, really good ramen, really good Italian food. I had really good Italian food. Yinka Winfrey says, Yinka, where's your husband?
He was making fun of her. Her name.
It was a book. It's a book. Sorry.
It's a book. It's a book. Where's your husband? I have never heard of it. We will talk about books at the end of this too. But no, I've never heard of it. Got to look into it. That's what she was talking about.
Yeah, but the food is good. The food is good. And everything is so fresh. Like going to the bakery and buying bread. Oof, I love that experience.
Yes.
Just going to the bakery, buying fresh bread, buying pastries. I miss it. I love it.
Yeah, but everyone in the comments, everyone in here knows that I love food. I will travel for food. When I started my social medias, food for travel was taken, but that's I love food. I love to eat, and I will travel. I will get on a plane just to eat some ink squid. Yes.
And the wine is so cheap and so good. I've never had a bad glass of wine while in Spain.
Ooh.
Love it. €2 for a glass of wine.
Ooh, okay. So
love it.
Barcelona, Spain, London. How long did you stay in London? Was it a hop, skip, and jump stay?
I stayed in London for like 3 months. I love London.
Really? So you love London, but were you in London, in the city?
No, I stayed out. That was the
okay.
The magic trick. I stayed outside of central London. And the thing is like something about it. I don't know why London has my heart. It's just like I always describe it as like a toxic ex that you just keep going back to. Like he bad for you. He gonna drag your edges, but you keep coming around and it's the same thing over and over again. And
not a toxic
ex. I go back every time. I was in London just this past June for my birthday. I live for London. I don't know what it is. It's
Mm.
just one of those places that I just have to get
It's a
tired
bad
of.
boy city. London is your bad boy city.
Not bad boy.
Oh, uh, ignore that. I don't. No reference. No reference. Okay. London is your. London is one of your favorite cities. Okay, why?
So there's always something to do in London.
Okay.
I love, is it corny to say I love people with accents? But now it's like I've been to a few countries that it's just like there's
And
so many different kind of accents. But the to say that I like the British accent is so cheesy,
no
right?
one loves a USA accent. So no.
Although a very deep country accent I could get behind.
Oh, a country accent. Yes.
I
Yes.
might like a country accent.
Mhm.
What do I love about London? I don't know. Just like maybe because it was that first country where I went to alone. I learned how to use the tube. I learned how to get around on my own. And I really felt like it was, I don't know, it was the place where I feel like, oh, I did this, you
Right.
know? Um, yeah.
Or is it the activities? Like what about the city draws you back?
It's so hard to say because I do those same activities everywhere. Like I could say the museums, but I also went to museums in Spain. I also went to museums in Denmark. I also went, so I really cannot explain it. It's just like a drug that I have to wean myself off of like every couple months.
Got you. And you were in London and then you came to Morocco from London, right? Okay. Um, okay. So we're going to get into this. This conversation is going to meander a little bit. Um,
Okay.
so we're going to come back to your countries, but before we leave here, we're going to do a quick fire round of countries. Right? Ready? Okay.
Quick.
So favorite best food countries or best food out of your 10 countries, best food.
It's not a fair question.
Give me two.
Give you two. Okay, I'm gonna say London, but the Indian food in London is the best Indian food I've ever had in my life. I really crave it.
Okay.
So I probably need to go to India, huh?
I would suggest that, but that was surprising because when you said London, I'm like, that food
I
ain't good.
feel like I haven't had the best food of my life yet. I haven't been to Italy.
Okay.
I feel like but you know what? France had really good cuisine.
Okay.
I feel like I never had a croissant before going to France.
That's saying something. You have never had a good croissant on the U.S. side of the world.
If you've never been to France and gotten a croissant, you've never had a croissant.
Okay.
I'm telling anybody.
Okay.
One of those, what do they call it? Pot au chocolat. Those little the croissants with the chocolate on the inside. When I tell you it almost made me cry. I was like, what am I?
I believe you. And I've never wanted to go to France until you just said that. I've never wanted to go, never wanted to visit, never looked at a flight. Now I want to go.
I also didn't want to go. The only reason I went is crazy. I said I wasn't gonna talk about dating, but here I am about to tell a story about dating. I was dating this man when I was in Germany who is from Cote d'Ivoire. So like, and he studied in France. And so we took a weekend trip to France and I had never wanted to go. But I was like, all right, I'll do it. It's something cute to do. When I tell you, and maybe I had a different experience because I was with someone who spoke French.
Okay.
But the city is like, it's magical. Like, I get it. Like, I went there and I was like, I get why people really love this country. Like, the food, the coffee, I don't know. There's something about France at nighttime. We were in Paris, like staying just outside of Paris. Now they got too many people out there. All right, I don't like all them people on the public transportation. It was too much. It was too much. But give me France outside of Paris, or maybe south of France, because I also really enjoy driving through. Like when I stayed in Toulouse, I really did enjoy France. Okay. So actually going there changed my opinion.
Okay, so back up. We're gonna just touch on it a little bit. Did he plan the date?
He did. Listen, I will tell any black woman that will listen. The
Come
men are
on.
different overseas. Um,
Mm.
I did a lot of dating in my traveling. I have never planned a date. Okay. I never paid for anything. I just arrived. So
You
yes,
just showed up. You didn't have to tell him where you wanted to
I
eat.
just showed
Right.
up and I was treated like a princess. Okay.
Mm.
So
Hi, Kai Jackson. Hey, baby. Okay, so we're back to okay. We'll touch on dating a little later, but okay. So France, Paris, you loved it. What quick fire round? What is the most affordable city you visited or country?
Albania,
That's why you stay so long.
Albania, maybe
Okay.
Spain. Spain also. Yeah.
Okay.
So my accommodations weren't affordable because of the location. But
Okay.
I saw other options, but I wanted to be close to the beach. When it
Okay.
came down to food, the food was the most affordable thing for me. And also whenever I wanted to do my little touristy things, so like go to the museums and go to different things, that was also really affordable. I had like a few different like Airbnb experiences. I
Okay.
probably spent the least amount of money actually doing things while I was in Spain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What is the most expensive country?
Denmark.
Denmark. Okay.
Denmark
Wow.
is crazy expensive.
So
And
how long did you stay in Denmark?
I stayed in Denmark for a month. I kind of wish I had stayed longer. Um, if I hadn't had my dogs, maybe it would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Denmark was pricey from food costs to even transportation. Denmark was pricey.
Okay.
Hmm.
How much? So a Airbnb for your month? How much was it?
Let's not talk no, because listen,
Okay. It was
I've
more than
made
London. It was more than when you stayed in London.
well, it's different because I stayed longer in London. So
Okay.
like taking that into accountability, I stayed in London for like 3 months. I stayed in Denmark for a month, like
Okay.
even. So it's probably too much money. Let's not talk about poor financial choices. All right, let's just not go there.
Okay. Okay. So people in the chat, if you have a question for Keyoka, please ask it, and she will answer. If you have a question about traveling around the world, how much a place is. She's been to Albania. She's been to Germany. She's been to Morocco. 10 countries. Ask away. Okay, quick fire round. What country or city would you love to go back to?
To go back to, well, I've already been to London 3 times,
Yes,
and
no.
I've already been to Albania twice. So, uh, go back. I would like to go back to Copenhagen.
Okay.
Um, it's a beautiful city. Uh, it's a beautiful city. It's very peaceful. And I like places where people leave you alone. So Copenhagen is one of those places where nobody's in your face and nobody's bothering you.
Okay.
So I like that.
So
I would
most. Go ahead.
I would like to give Germany another chance. I have a video on my channel about why I hated Germany. That still stands, but I would give it another chance.
So quickly, why did you hate it?
I don't like I
Were you there for the holiday markets? Weren't you there for the holiday
I was
market?
there for the Christmas markets. I like the Christmas markets. I love a mulled wine. I did not like the people.
Ah,
German people are a little abrasive, a little cold. They'll look at you like you crazy.
so it was
And
a different. It was a different stare than the Albania stare.
it was a different stare. And it's like, as a Black American, you know what the stares are giving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just didn't like that. I didn't like that environment. I've gotten the feedback that maybe I need to try a different city. So for instance, I didn't mind Munich, right? When I was there in Munich. So maybe I would go back to Munich. Maybe I would try like a Berlin. Um, yeah, we'll try that. We'll try it again.
Okay. What country, city would you not suggest that Black women try to date?
Date?
Date.
Um, date? That one's a hard one. I would say go anywhere. I would say date wherever you want to date.
Huh? Okay. Okay.
Cause it's like different.
So you had no bad experiences, no bad dating experiences while in the streets. In
No,
the okay.
it's like being in an ice cream store.
Except for
Try
you
all
asked
the
me to
flavors.
go ahead.
I say it's like being in an ice cream store. Like try all the flavors.
Okay.
Yeah, cause it's like if you approach dating with the mindset that like, okay, men are gonna be men no matter where I am, and I'm in this to have a fun experience. You know, you weed out the weirdos, weed out the people who may be having a fetish, and just go out there and live your life, have fun.
Okay. So Kat Jackson has a question. She's closer to your age than you are to ours. Kat Jackson wants to know what's a good place to travel for cheap and have a good time.
Spain.
Spain for a
Yeah.
teenager. She's teen.
Spain.
Spain. Okay. Kat, tell your mama. Tell you that you want to travel to Spain.
I mean, I also imagine like Mexico or like somewhere in South America. But I haven't been to those places to see for myself, but I imagine those are.
So, in your experience, Spain is a good time for a teen.
Mexico, Spain, yeah.
Okay. Put Spain on your list.
What does for a teen mean? How old is the teen?
She's a teen, but she's very mature for her age. Very, very, very mature.
You better tell them let you go outside. Pick a country. You know, Kai, if you want to travel, get into your study abroad program, right? See if you can work on. I don't know if you have your degree yet. I don't know how old you are because your auntie being low KG. But if you have your degree, see if you can go to college abroad.
Okay.
That's the best experience. I really wish I had done that when I was younger.
That's a good advice. That's good advice, Kai. Look for colleges with a living abroad program.
Yeah. That way you can dip your toe into a foreign place like in a closed environment.
Okay, so we'll come back to countries, we'll come back to adventures. Tell the people how did you afford to travel the world for a year and visit 10 countries and live your nomadic life? How does that, did you have money stacked? Are you rich? Do you have that little boyfriend who wanted to marry you? Did he supply you with some funds? How do you do?
People thought I was an escort child. But no, not rich. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not rich because the universe always provides, but I worked. I started traveling and I was working 2 full-time jobs, remote.
Okay.
And then, probably I would say like 7 to 8 months into my traveling, I was like, why am I working so hard? And then I dropped one of the jobs. And then I started working on like freelancing and doing stuff like that. I only got like a couple of clients because I wasn't really trying that hard at that time. But
you dropped that job.
Yes. Exactly. I dropped that job. So I worked less. So I think like the biggest thing for me in my year of travel was I had this kind of mindset shift that like, I want to live my life. I don't want to like be in this, the hustle cycle of like working and dying and not enjoying the fruit of my labor.
Yes. Working until you can't work anymore and then retiring and then just withering away. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. So so before you booked the ticket to, was it Ireland?
Mm-hmm.
Before you booked that ticket, did you save money for this transition? Did you have money?
I put aside like $5,000 because I was like, just in case. But I knew I was going to be working full time, so I didn't put any money aside.
But you still had that safety net.
Exactly. So like my plan was I gave up my apartment. I had a storage unit. I let my little sister take over my car note. So she had my car. So I didn't really have any expenses. And I just used the budget that I would have been using for life in Texas to live in another state or another country.
Right. Okay. So you did plan. You had a little nest egg for emergencies, but you were still working. When you left, when you got on the plane, did you still have those 2 jobs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kept the 2 jobs until like 8 months into me traveling.
Okay. So what were those 2 jobs? What do you do?
Okay, so before anybody thinks that I'm a crazy person by having two full-time jobs, I'll say this. I'm a copywriter. And because I am a writer, I write quickly, right? And so I was not overworked at all. And I was not working 80-hour weeks
Were
ever.
you already working remote or were you going into
Yes,
office?
I was already working remote.
Okay.
I had been working my jobs since one of them since like 2021, and we had a fully remote office. And the second one I had been working since 2022. So
Okay.
when I decided to travel, I was working both fully remote jobs. And like I said, I was not working 80-hour. Every time you do that, it is hilarious.
You can still hear me though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm looking at my notes. I'm looking at my notes, but go ahead. Yes.
So yeah, so I was working fully remote. I had two jobs. I was not working 80-hour weeks just off the fact that like I work quickly, and I work by deadline. So if I completed a project, then I essentially didn't have to work that day, right? I just had to like clock on for meetings. So and then I didn't have that many meetings. So it's just about like time management, organization, and then working really quickly, working efficiently.
Okay, so you had two jobs. You had
Yeah, like a
uh,
crazy person.
two
Which
contracted jobs.
yeah.
Two contracted jobs, two contracted copywriting jobs. How many hours a week did you work? Yes.
It really varied, honestly, like I can't even quantify it because there'd be some days where I'm like, okay, I'm going to wake up at 7 and work all day. And then I have a meeting in the evening, right? Because there's a time difference. But then there were some days where it was like, all right, all my projects are done. I don't have anything to do today. So it's my day off unofficially.
All
So
right.
I can't
So
really quantify how many hours I worked. Sometimes it was 30, sometimes it was 20, sometimes it was 10, sometimes it was, but I had been working like that when I was in the US. So I just want to be clear that like my situation is the exception, it's not the rule. Because I think a lot of people may be working jobs that are more demanding than my work was.
mhm.
But because I worked on a deadline and I wrote quickly, I didn't really have to adhere to like a normal writing schedule or a normal working schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those were your two. So when did you well, let's address this. Oh, we'll get to that, Yink. So Yinka is also a writer. Um,
Hi, Yinka.
what Yes, she's also a writer, and she also loves to proofread. And I'm sure copywriting is on her list of things that she's thinking about doing. So, what kind of copywriter are you?
Yeah, so I specialize in SEO, which is search engine optimization. I write blogs, I write emails, ads, web copy, and I am someone who would work in a marketing department, or I am copywriting is something that's applicable to any field. So any major company will hire copywriters because they need front facing, customer facing copy. So that's like, blogs, articles, case studies, white papers. Your homepage was probably written by a copywriter. Your product display pages are written by copywriters. So really, it goes into any field.
So, how do you find your jobs? How do you find your copywriting gigs? Or how
Well,
did you?
I start off with what I like doing. So I've written for so many like industries at this point. Like I've done tech, I've done IT, I've done renewable energy, I've done supplements. I like writing about health and wellness. So I'll find health and wellness customers or health and wellness companies, and then you just reach out to them, right? So see if they're already in the business of hiring freelance writers, or if they have it's always a good sign if they have a marketing department,
Okay.
because that means they're used to churning out marketing copy. And just send them an email, right? It's essentially just a cold pitch. You say like, hey, I'm Keyoka, I have X amount of experience. Here's a link to my portfolio. I see that you every time you do that, it's hilarious. Or what am I say?
The pitch.
Right, the pitch, right? So I have this much experience. I'm used to developing this kind of campaigns. I work in this kind of I do this kind of content strategy, and I could be beneficial to your brand, your company. Another good thing is like if you notice any messaging that's missing. So like let's say you sign up for their email and you never get a welcome email, right? You say like, "Hey, I realized that um you're not sending out a welcome email, or I realize that you're missing this key component of your email flow. I could really help you with that." Thank you, Raina. So yeah, that's basically what a pitch would be like. And then following up is pitching is so daunting. Pitching is so daunting, but it's like an
It
essential
is.
part of it's
Yes,
an
it
essential
is.
part of writing, I think.
Yes. Pitching is, and we overthink it all the time. You're overthinking it all the time. Pitching is, okay, this is what I do. I know what you do. Here, how I can be a help to you.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 bullet pointed. And then if you would like my services, blah, 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 boom. That's a pitch. We overthink it. We try to fill it with 300 words. Yes, don't do that. But yeah, it's a daunting, and you gotta pitch. You gotta send out the pitches.
You got to send out the pitch. Like you have something I had to learn was treat yourself like a business, right? So like when I was previously working in-house, I was doing all this stuff. So like an email flow, I would draft the email flow for my employer or my contractor. And I'm like, wait a second, I have to do that for myself, for my own business. I need to be sending out X amount of emails, introducing myself, offering my services, telling people what my services are. So that way I can keep and retain clients.
Yes. So that is tip number one.
Not tips.
Tip number one, treat yourself like a business. If you want to become a copywriter who can travel the world, this is what you need to do. So in relation to that, should you have a website? Should you have a LinkedIn? How can people look at you,
You
find
better have a
like
website.
a business?
You had better have a website. I think if you don't have a website, create a portfolio. Like people want to see the work that you have already done, right? I think in writing, that's the biggest, probably the biggest support that you have, that people are going to be looking for your experiences. They don't want to hear what you've done. They want to see it. They want to read it. So have something to show people.
Yes. If you don't have a website, you could just make a LinkedIn with all your links. If you have, if they're virtual, have all your, work examples on that to send to them when you pitch them. Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So that's how you get your gigs. How do you manage your travel / work / living time on the road, right? In these different countries, how do you manage your time? How do you balance that work life?
It actually helped that they were on different time zones.
Okay.
So I would usually explore a new city during the day, and then work at night like a night owl. And on days where I had more work to do, I would just block off and say like, okay, Thursday and Friday are going to be heavy work days, so I'm going to stay inside. I think that's the beauty of slow traveling, is that I really had time to explore a new city. I gave myself that time because I wasn't like, okay, I'm only going to be here for 2 weeks. I got to do every single thing on my list. No, realistically, I'm gonna be here for a month, so I'm gonna build in some nap days. I'm gonna accommodate my own work schedule, and I'm gonna give myself time to enjoy myself.
So when you were working the contracts, do you have to tell the
No,
okay.
they were in different industries. So I would say if you're stacking, make sure, because a lot of companies will have like non-compete agreements. So I would
Okay.
say like read your paperwork. But then it also helps if you're working in different industries, right? So for me, one of my contracts was in renewable energy, the other one was in nutraceuticals. So these were completely different fields.
Right.
So it never overlapped.
And they were already remote, so you didn't have to tell them, oh, I'll be in this country or whatever. You just
Yeah.
okay. Great.
I
All
mean, I
right.
did tell one, but that's because I like them. I like them.
So that's another thing. Like, when you're doing this type of work, when you're writing and you have it gives you freedom. It gives you time freedom and location freedom, right? At
Yeah.
this point, I have time freedom. I do not have location freedom, but yeah, like being a freelancer, working remote gives you those things. Hey, Raina. Hi, boo. Okay, so copywriting. What's the difference between CEO copywriting and regular copywriting? Tell the people, please.
So SEO copywriting really focuses
SEO.
on.
I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah.
okay. It
CEO.
really focuses on yeah, because it stands for search engine optimization. So it focuses on the specific words that people are typing into the search bar. So like, I don't know, hair care for black girls, right? So that's a keyword. That would be a keyword or a key phrase.
Right.
Um, and so if you're a company that sells hair care products, you want to be optimizing the content on your website for that specific keyword. And it depends on your industry, which keywords work best for you. These things also change over time, but like it's basically making it easier for customers or potential customers to see your website, see your business, and then ultimately like end up leading to a sale.
Okay. So SEO basically means you're a copywriter for sales.
Sort of, yes. Yes.
Promotion, for
Lead,
promotion
I would say
marketing.
lead generation, but yes,
Okay.
promotion. Yes.
Okay.
So
Or
in
lead.
marketing, you'll be working in marketing.
Okay. And it is strange that I'm not on the screen asking you questions, right? Okay. So
It's okay. Every time you do that, I'm like,
it's a trick that I just learned watching the YouTube how to go live. Okay. So all right. So if people want your SEO, Lord, your SEO copywriting services, where do they reach you?
oh, you can go to keyokakinzy.com and send me a request for a discovery call. We can talk about your content needs. We can talk about your content strategy. Let me see if I have a link a link a link at a link.
Yes, link it, please.
Yeah, I think a lot of businesses are actually underutilizing SEO and copywriting
Mhm.
because okay, I don't want to sound like the bitter person, but a lot of people think that you can just write everything on Chat GPT, right? And don't
No,
get me
tell
wrong,
the truth. Yes, tell the truth.
because but the thing is, Chat GPT is a tool, right? And we use tools to write, but you actually have to be a good writer. There is research that needs to be done to be writing the content on your site. If
Yes,
you're not using the right keywords, you may have a really well read site, but nobody's going to find it. It's going to be buried under the search engine pages.
yes. And Raina she owns a hair salon in Atlanta. Raina says, "Oh, she needed that tidbit. She's beginning to push her product sales for her salon business." So, Raina, what kind of products are you selling? I'm assuming hair products. If so, you can reach Keyoka at the link. It will be under this video when we're finished to talk about her services, her copywriting services.
Yes, I'm accepting new clients. I love it.
Yes, and Raina, tell us what kind of products you'll be selling. Okay, so that's the difference between SEO copywriter and a regular copywriter. So copywriting basically is like proofreading, but it's changing your wording so that your promotion and marketing lands with the people that you wanted to land with, gets in the hand, gets in front of the audience that you needed to do to push your product or to push your business, right?
Exactly. It can even be used for if anybody is building YouTube channels, right? You could benefit from some SEO, you could benefit from a copywriter. It all has to do with search. So it's not
Or
just
building your website.
it's very much building your website, right? So Raina, let's say I don't know where you are, but like let's say you're in Nashville, right? So to get you seen as a natural hair product company in Nashville, there's some there's some optimization that needs to occur, right? Because when somebody types in black hair care in Nashville, they're going to populate with different brands, different companies, but you want them to come to you, right? So using that keyword on however many pages you need to make sure that you're coming up in search results is what I do.
So that's what she does.
That's what I do.
She need those services. If that sounds good to you, if you don't have the time to do all that yourself, hit her up. Hit her up after this video and check her out. Copywriting. More questions about copywriting. So, do you have contracts now, or are you mostly freelancing now?
I'm freelancing now. I'm accepting new clients, trying to get my name out there, cold pitching. Just hit me up.
Cool.
ATL. Rain is an ATL. ATL is a very competitive market. You definitely would need my services or the services of somebody else who knows, obviously, my services, but
like, it is competitive.
The more competitive the market, the more niche you need to be.
Yeah. Raina, do you have a website? I'm not sure. I should be, but I don't think you do. But yes. Okay. So getting back to traveling and writing, what other kind of writing do you do? What other kind of writing are you getting into?
At my heart, I'm a fiction writer. I've been working on a novel for about the last 10 years. Everybody has the work that's like in the dungeon. I'm trying to get into travel writing. Actually, you helped me with that. Like, you encouraged me to do that.
Yes, because she has a blog where she, goes into all her travel adventures. But I told her some of those things that she posts for free on her blog, she could be pitching to different travel magazines. That's tip number 2.
Right.
Tip number 2, if you want to travel and write, travel and then write about your travels and then pitch it to different travel magazines. Yes.
Yeah. So I think, like, for me, it is, when I started traveling, I didn't see a lot of people who traveled with dogs out of the country. So I'm really interested in writing about that. A lot of people will ask me, like, what's it like being a Black girl in, like, let's say Albania? I'm interested to write about that. What's it like traveling solo as a Black woman? I talk a lot about that. So yeah, I've been sending out my little travel pitches. We'll see what happens.
So travel with dogs.
Yeah.
Solo travel as a Black woman. And what was the third one? Yeah, your adventures as a Black woman in Albania, right?
Yeah, or different countries. You can also all find this in my YouTube channel if you are not subscribed. Awkward Black Nomad.
Yes, Awkward Black Nomad. And what she just laid out were her niches, right?
Yeah.
Those are the niches that which she wants to write about. Those are things that you are interested in. So if you are interested in writing, find your niche or your niche. Find that thing that you're passionate about and write about that. I am passionate about travel. I am also passionate about highlighting Black women like Keyoka who travel. These are some of my niches, right? These are some of the niches that I pitch about, and in addition to fiction, writing fiction. So that's what tip number 3. We got a tip number 3. Any other tips that you can give the people if they're interested in copywriting work, Keyoka?
Any other
we already talked about getting a website, treating yourself like a business. Any other tips?
I would say there's a lot of, so if anybody's interested on the specific kind of writing that I do, there's a lot of free resources online. So SEMrush, SEMrush, has a guide on like SEO and on copywriting. HubSpot also. Yes. These companies, Moz, MOZ, they have these resources available online, and it's a pretty easy profession to get into. Obviously, I have experience, but you can make up some experience. All that matters is that you have your portfolio, and if you get in front of people for a sales call, you know what you're talking about, right? So you can do your own self-study. I don't want to say don't go to college, but
Don't go to college. I'll say it.
I'm in a lot of debt. Right? If
Don't
I
do
had
that.
known,
You can
if
do
I
your
had
own
known,
independent research. No.
do your own independent. I'm a proponent of doing your own independent research, right? So do your own independent research.
You can learn anything. Yes. If you are a scholastic person and you like the college experience, if you're a younger person, let me rephrase this. If you are younger, if you are in your teens like Kai Jackson, and you want that early life experience of college, of course go to college, right? If you are in your midlife, 30 and above, don't like school, but want to change your career, you do not have to pay all that money to go to college. If you get a free, ride, yes, take it. But, you know, that's my advice. Anywho, okay, let's get back to traveling. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Were you scared to take your solo travel steps?
Of course, I was scared. I thought I was losing my mind. I thought this was a terrible decision. I literally was at my auntie house, and I was like, why did you let me do this? Like, why didn't you say anything? This was terrible. This was a terrible decision. My
Terrible
friends,
idea.
my friends were like, this is not a good plan. Like, this is not a good plan.
But you, even though you had planned, you had research, you had your itinerary, you had $5,000. Listen, listen, whatever. You were planned, you were ready. They still told you it was not a good idea.
Everybody thinks you're crazy. So that means you need to get around people who don't think you crazy, right?
Especially the people who've been in my chat. This is my circle. We already on that. We on the live the life you want to live to be free. That's what you're
100%.
on. Yes.
100%. So
Give
yeah,
us free. Yes.
I was terrified. I was terrified until I made it. I was scared until I made it.
So you never got over it. You just did it.
I just did it. And I mean, my saying, my mantra these days is do it scared.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Just do it. Don't think about it. Don't let it stop you. Just do it. You have to just jump in, both feet.
Right. And how long were you traveling when the fear finally left you, disappeared?
Um, I remember I was in Ireland.
Oh, early
And
on, immediately.
yeah, it was immediately because I think I had been in Ireland for like a week. Um, and so for starters, I talk about this on my channel. Like, I'm an introvert and I like my naps. So like when I get overwhelmed, I take a nap. And so when I first landed in Ireland, I was just frazzled. I was stressed out. My dogs were stressed out. Wasn't sure that I had made a good decision. So I kind of like isolated for like the first few days, and then very slowly I started to leave the hotel. Um, and I remember the exact moment I was in Dublin and I was walking across a bridge. And there's something about water. I think being from New Orleans, I'm like connected to water in a way. And just being there in that moment over that water, and it reminded me of home. There's this ease and this settledness that came. And I was like, I actually did this. I
Yes.
actually, I actually did this, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I let it go. I just let all my fear go. Well, if I got away with this, what else can I get away with in my life?
Yes. And Raina is right. That's what it sounds like. That she allowed her spirit to lead her instead of allowing her human self to hold her back.
Yes, we love
Exactly
to
right.
see it. Thank you, Raina. We love to see it.
Exactly what she did.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes you just gotta, you gotta walk by faith. You gotta walk by something bigger than you. I always feel like if you have a dream, there's a reason why you have this dream. There's something pulling you towards an action, towards a thought.
There's a reason why the thought came to you. There's a
There's a
reason
reason.
why it was downloaded into your brain. There's a reason. You're right.
There's a reason, you know? So just follow it. Even if you don't, even if the path isn't clear, it'll brighten up once you start walking.
Yes. Yes. The resources will be sent to you.
Yeah.
The support will be sent to you. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's deconstruct this theory of you being an introvert. Is that where the moniker of awkward black nomad comes from? Where did that come from?
Yes. Well, obviously I'm an Issa Rae fan.
Yes.
And I always thought it was like a cool name because I was like, okay, I'm awkward, I'm black, and I'm bopping around. So awkward black nomad.
That fits perfectly. So nomadic. So you said earlier in this chat that you consider yourself a slow traveler. What's the difference between a slow traveler and just a nomadic out there in the world?
Well, okay, so like in my experience, I feel like I've come across a few different kind of travelers. So there's some people that like are like they fly by the seat of their pants and they're just like in new countries all the time, right? Or they chase deals. And so they're like, okay, this is a really cheap flight to Thailand. Let me hop on the plane and go and then stay for I don't know how long. And then, that causes me anxiety. That makes me anxious. I'm not doing that. There's also people who, like I have a friend who she sort of slow travels, but even that is too fast for me. So she stays in a country for a month, but she only stays in a city for like 1 to 2 weeks, right? So she just gets a gist of each city. Okay. For me,
that's too much for me.
Even that's too much for me.
I want to sit still. Yes.
I want to sit still. Travel is so stressful for me. I don't know what it is, like packing and then like being on the plane and dealing with my dogs, and my dogs don't like flying, and then and then like figuring out where things are, like it's just all of this mental that by the time I get to a new place, I'm just like
yeah. Maybe if she did like a country and you could take a train to the different cities.
Right. That's what I do.
Yeah. I could do that. I can't get on the plane.
I'm not doing it.
Yes. We're the same. We are still the same. I don't consider myself an introvert, but I don't like people. I don't like crowds and people for real. So I can see where you're saying I think you're a, what is it? Ambivert.
Maybe I'm an ambivert. It depends on my mood. The only reason that I would say introvert is because I really get exhausted, like being around people. Like,
me too.
Sometimes I say I'm an empath because I take in everybody's like energy and emotion, and so by the time I get away from somebody, I'm like, oh my god, I need to.
You're drained. Yes,
I need to take a nap.
Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think you're on the cusp. You're on the introvert ambivert cusp. But what has travel, right? What have travel taught you about yourself? What has traveling these 10 countries over this year taught you about yourself?
I feel like, okay, so this borderline extrovert that you see talking to you today is only after travel. Okay. Because I don't be talking to people like that.
This is the post travel Keyoka.
Afterward, because you by yourself in a new country, you are going to have to talk to people. Like you're forced to talk to people, and I still have those moments where it's difficult for me to like overcome my shyness to actually talk to someone. But I've noticed that over time, it's like a muscle that you build. Like you just get more and more comfortable being by yourself in public.
Okay. So let's talk about that though. Let's talk about engaging with community when you are traveling the world. So you travel solo, you didn't have a friend, you had your dogs, right? But the dogs had you conversation. So how do you connect? Don't. Lord!
No.
They don't answer. We're just going to say they don't answer. How did you connect with communities as an introvert as you were traveling by yourself?
A lot of different ways. I have met friends on Bumble BFF. Okay. I've also used the Facebook groups. So obviously Exodus Summit is one.
Okay.
I'll join, depending on the country that I'm going to, I'll join like Black in X, like so Black in Denmark, Girls in Denmark is like a really big Facebook group. Um, and sometimes I've had a couple of people just like hail me down because Black Americans, y'all loud and y'all just want to talk to everybody. So I've had a few people hail me down and be like, "Are you American?" Yes, I'm American. Well, all right, let's go. Like that's what happened to me in Denmark. Actually, I was getting on a hop on hop off bus tour, and this woman was like looking at me because we're the only two Black people. She was looking at me, and I was looking at her. And she came over, and I was like, "Oh man, she's gonna talk to me." And so she started talking to me. Extroverts will find you, by the
Yeah.
way. Extroverts will just sniff
Yes.
you out.
Make you be their friend. They sure will.
They sure will. And
Mm.
one of my really good friends who I interviewed on my channel, actually Bianca, I met her in Spain, and we actually knew we have a mutual friend who I went to college with. And so like I was telling her I was in Spain, I was like, I'm kind of by myself and like I don't know anybody. And she's like, "Girl, I know somebody in Barcelona. Let me connect you." So utilizing your network that you didn't even realize you had is a good way to help you make friends.
Yes. Yes. So that's how we said earlier, that's how me and Keyoka met while we were in Morocco, meeting for the first time at the Exodus Summit meetup. Um, that's how we met. That's how I met her. And Exodus Summit is a group of thousands of women. It helps you put your plan together to make a sabbatical, to take your sabbatical, to quit your job, to live your life overseas. And that's a wonderful group if you are looking to make a change, not only if you're just looking to become an expat, but also just, take a break from work. So they are having um, what is it, a summit coming
Yeah.
up. And when is the dates for the summit?
October 11th through the 14th, I believe.
October 11th through the 14th. I will link the Exodus Summit under here, under the video. If you are interested, if you are like-minded, if you are thinking about even living 6 months in the US or 6 months overseas, or taking the leap full-time to become an expat, or starting a business, or just making any type of transition, the summit is coming up. It's October, and I will link that in the bio belief. Okay.
And it's just good to be around, like I said, people who don't think you crazy. Um, Even if you don't have like move abroad goals, even if you want to like travel more, even if you just want to be around women who have a different kind of mindset, like I don't want to live to work
Yes.
for the rest of my life. I want to do something else.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
where you can have there's women in there from like all different kind of experiences. Some of them got kids, have been divorced, some of them don't have any kids, never been married, and it's like young, old, like you have every like get in where you fit in. There's
Yes.
a woman for you in Exodus Summit.
Yes. A community of women all over the world. And just like she said, even if you don't want to become an expat, if you want to travel more frequently, then jump in the group, meet some people who are living in different countries. When you go to those countries, reach out to them and say, "Hey, I'm in your neck of the woods. Would you come, meet me for lunch? You want to have some drinks?" Blah blah blah. It's a great community. We've met a lot of awesome people. So yeah, that's my Exodus Summit pitch. And our YouTubes, we can credit Stephanie Perry, and they want their credit, y'all. They want their credit. Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow for inspiring us to create both of our YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And then I'm done. Okay. So getting back to your travel adventures, where would you love to go that you have not gone yet?
Asia, everywhere in Asia.
Everywhere in Asia.
Everywhere. Okay. Like I said, I had a dream about going to Japan when I was younger. That has been reignited. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to South Korea. I want to go to China. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to Vietnam. I want to go all over Asia. The only reason I haven't is because I have not figured out how to get my dogs over there. Same thing with Africa. I would love to stay long term in several different countries in Africa, but I have not figured out how to get my dogs over there and be able to get them out.
So when you went to South Africa with the Exodus Summit gang, you didn't take your dogs?
No, we have a when I speak in we, I mean me and the dogs.
Okay.
So we have a border in Albania. We were staying in Albania at the time,
Uh-huh.
who I love, and they watched my dogs while I was in South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, but the issue is like if I want to stay somewhere long term and slow mad like I like to, I don't want to leave them with a border. I want to take them with me. It's very difficult to you can bring the dogs to Africa, but it's harder to get them out because a lot of countries in Africa are high risk for rabies,
Oh.
which I feel like that's racism, by the way, but I just feel like somehow this is racism because if you look at
You're right about that. Can we I need to type that down. Write a pitch about how that is hilarious. How rabies, how assuming a dog has rabies is like racism when traveling. That
I
will
think it is.
somebody to pick that up. I'm
I
telling
think it's racism, but
you. Yeah.
because do you remember when we were in? Wait, did you go to South Africa with us too? I
I
don't
did
remember.
not. No, I was
But when
not.
we were in Cape Town, like, and I know Cape Town is like gentrified and all this other stuff, but the dogs were really well treated. Like that, I saw hardly any strays. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to bring my dogs that are vaccinated, that have all of their shots, all of their medicine, bring them to South Africa and be able to take them out. Right? There's all kinds of restrictions on being able to take the dog to another country once they've been in a high risk for rabies country. I think it's racism.
It's racism. I'm telling you, that's a pitch. How did you like South Africa in comparison to other countries? Since it's a quote unquote
It's
black,
pretty.
it's pretty. Okay.
Beautiful gowns, beautiful gowns.
How long
But
did you say you were only there for like 2 weeks?
yeah, I have a friend who is a Fulbright scholar in
Oh,
Johannesburg. So I popped over to see her for a couple days. I really wish I had stayed in Joburg longer
okay.
cuz that's more of my taste.
Okay. In
But
Cape
Cape
Town versus
Town,
Cape Town.
right, Cape Town was a pretty place, but very
Mm-hmm.
gentrified,
Mm-hmm.
just very gentrified. I didn't really
And
like
all the race things that you have here, I'm assuming.
yeah, I didn't really like the behavior that I saw. I wasn't treated poorly, but I could tell, like, like I said, you being a Black American, you see with
Right.
people's
So
eyes.
this, right.
You know when people are treating you a certain way because of the color of your skin.
Right.
And not only that, like I didn't like witnessing how darker skinned people were treated differently. Even by like colored people or like very fair skinned people. So it was just too much. It was just like too much. And I had been in Albania for a while, essentially away from all of that. And
Right.
so coming back.
How though, how you were in Albania, where you were
Right.
one of the only Black people, and you did not have any experiences or didn't feel any experience of racism or a caste system, but then you go to South Africa where the majority are Black people
Yeah.
and experience that. That's deep.
Yeah. I mean, it really puts it into perspective. Even being back in the US now, it's like, I don't know, it's almost like being an American in Europe. You get this experience that you're almost outside of race. Obviously, I'm sure there's some classism involved.
Yeah.
Um, and then maybe because I'm not darker skinned, I don't get that same experience as because people aren't assuming that I'm like people aren't making the assumption that I'm continental African or something like that. But it's almost like you're living outside of race in a way because people just kind of leave you alone for the most part. That was my experience. I had very, very few experiences where I was like, is this person racist?
Mm-hmm.
Are they racist? I can't. But even then, it's like I can't tell. Like a similar experience where I'm from in Louisiana, I'll be like, oh, yep, racism. But
Right.
like if I'm in France and somebody kind of treats me weird, I'm like, are they just having a bad day? Because it's not the overall experience that you
Yes.
have.
Yes. Or that individual. Is this just coming from this individual as opposed
Yes, like it's so specific that it doesn't feel like the oppression that I'm used to.
right? Oh, why are we used to okay. Yes. That even that term, the oppression that I'm used to.
The oppression that I'm used to.
Baby. Okay, so getting back to the question about affordability while you're doing this, I wanted to get back to answer this
Mom
question.
just don't like being on camera. She just like me here by
I
myself.
don't. I do not. But it's we're highlighting you today. So Yinka asked, what was your average monthly expenses during that year of travel?
I don't want to be judged.
You can't be judged. We ain't did it. You the one that did it. So we ain't traveled a year.
And there were times where I probably spent too much money. So I really don't
So
know
what
if
did
I
you budget
should.
for? You
I
said
would
you
say I budgeted for my budget was 3,000 a month when I set out
okay.
because I knew that living in Texas, I was paying more than that.
You were paying
Like,
for the 3,000 a month living in Texas?
yeah. So like for my apartment, for my car,
Oh,
insurance,
okay. Yeah.
like food costs, I was paying more.
For everything, yes.
Right. So I was like, okay, my budget is going to be 3,000 a month when I start traveling. And sometimes I was way under budget.
Okay.
Significantly under budget. Other times I was over budget, but that was because the Lord is working on me.
Okay.
I'm still,
Okay.
still getting my finances in order. I made a lot of careless mistakes. I'll admit to that. Okay.
Okay. Well, it was your first time. It was a learning experience, right?
Right. Like those Beyonce tickets.
Yeah. But you had factored that in.
I
You had
did.
factored that in.
I did, and I paid extra.
Oh.
It's something not the face. Is this the
Because
same
that's why I
song?
wasn't going. Okay, and that's why I wasn't going. I don't like her that much. I like her, but I wasn't paying those Beyonce prices.
Honestly, if I was gonna go to a Beyonce concert, I would have gone to the self-titled album or what was that other one she did? The Lemonade. Probably should have went to that tour.
I would have went to the homecoming. I would have went
Yeah,
to
the Homecoming album would have been really good.
yeah.
The Renaissance. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want this to come back.
And you got the first leg. You got the first leg. Had you went to the second leg, you
Well,
might
she had
have.
an injury though. She had an injury, and you can tell.
Okay.
I'm like, Beyonce sitting down? What she think she doing sitting down?
I would pay that price. I will only pay those prices to see Prince. He gone. Like I would pay those prices to see legends. She's a legend in art. I guess she will be a legend. She's still in real time
She's
right
going
now.
to be
Yeah, I would pay that to see Tina. I would have paid. You know what I mean? I would pay that price.
Tina will every dollar that you spend on a Tina Turner concert, she earned it. Like she's one of those performers.
Yes. That's when I would pay that price to see Stevie. He coming in October and he ain't even charging that. So yeah.
You know, I heard something crazy that Stevie Wonder could see a little bit.
He can't. That man ain't blind.
I heard. You believe it too?
He has driven cars. He has he ain't blind. He has turned and talked to you. Watch a video. Watch a video with Stevie. I believe he has partial sight.
I heard this and I was like, are people saying that?
But I'm going to see Stevie. Yes, I'm going to see Stevie. Who is this? Hey, look who's here. Look who's here.
Hi.
Oh my God, I feel so special. Hello, lady. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Okay, we've been here for an hour and a half, actually. So what does for your future, right? Awkward Black Nomad the next. Say it again.
The crystal ball.
Yes.
Future.
2025. What are your plans for 2025?
2025. I don't know.
You don't know? You haven't started planning already?
You're gonna make me break out in hives. I don't know. Um,
Okay, what countries are on your list? Let's start with that. Let's start with the easy question. What
so
countries
many.
are on your list?
So now that I'm back stateside, I feel like a missed opportunity that I have not been to Mexico yet. Okay, I feel like it's been a missed opportunity. I should at least go to Mexico. I'm thinking about Costa Rica. I'm thinking about, um, but then I'm also thinking about Asia. I told you there's a lot of countries in Asia I want to go to. I haven't started planning.
I think Asia should be where you're focusing your
You
attention.
think Asia?
Yeah.
I
We can
need to
always
think
go to Mexico.
about,
We can always go to Mexico.
I need to think about what to do with the pooches. So that'll be my next step, right? So figuring out what to do with the pooches. They're obviously gonna come with me.
It's too much pressure. It's too much pressure for her.
Right. I'll break out and hide.
She got 3 months. She got 3 months to think
Um,
about it.
I have 3 months to think about it. I'm thinking strongly about Mexico. I know a few folks there. And then it's easy, and I think I could bring my doggies too. I know a few people have brought their dogs over. So we'll see what it's giving.
Okay, well, what countries in Mexico are you thinking about? I mean, what's
Cities.
the cities? I'm sorry. What's
I know somebody in San Miguel. I've heard good things about Mexico City. I want to dip a toe in. I want to peek an eyeball over in Guadalajara because I heard it's lit. I just want to.
yeah,
I just want to look. So we'll see.
San Miguel, Guadalajara,
Mexico City,
Mexico City. Okay.
maybe Merida.
Merida. Merida's on my list. I've done San
Not
Miguel to death.
to death.
I may host a retreat there. But yeah, I'm
Tell
going.
people about the retreat.
Huh?
Where y'all going next for the retreat?
We're going back to La Kegel in Puerto Rico. We're also, like I said, thinking about San Miguel de Allende. Yeah, some other places.
Do you think you'll do like a collab with the Casa Elm? Because
Oh,
isn't that
yeah, that's where if we go to San Miguel, that's where we will be. We will be in Casa Elm.
Oh, definitely. Like,
Where else would we be but at Michelle's Casa Elm? Yes.
where else?
Yes, that is the plan. She says she's also feeling like Mexico too. Have you been already? What cities have you been? Hey, you have not been. How are you in Texas and you've not been to Mexico?
Ain't that crazy? I ain't never been.
That's
crazy.
wow.
I went straight to Europe. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, that's wow. So aside from Mexico, aside from Asia, any other countries?
Yeah, countries. I would do Europe again. There's still places I hadn't gotten to. So like Italy. I have a homegirl in Poland.
Okay.
I would go back to Denmark. I really did like Denmark. And I don't know. UK again because I can't leave them alone.
I want you to leave them alone for at least 8 months and go somewhere else to have something to compare it to. Because you bigging it up, and I
you didn't like it?
I went to Scotland. I liked it.
The accent.
I don't have to go back. I don't have to go back. So I want you to explore other regions of the world before you go back to the UK. Okay. Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
What does my next to the last question? What does creating a life of your dreams, right? What does that look like to you?
This sounds like a difficult question.
What does living for your passion and your dreams look like to you?
Freedom.
Yes.
Yes, peace. It looks like peace. People have all these ideas about what happiness is. I think for me, it is not y'all acting like y'all don't have no sense. Chill out. Sorry about that. The animals. Yeah, it looks like freedom. It looks like peace. I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, right? I want to live a life that's full. I want to be happy. I want to be well rested, moisturized, my hair growing,
Yes, I know.
How- but I think like having that year where I wasn't walking around with all this stress on my shoulder really put life into perspective, right? Like that
Yes.
there is something else out there. There's a different way of living that is available.
Yes.
Yeah.
In your grasp, in hands reach. You can have it.
Yeah.
You just have to start. What are your tips for people, for women, of the African or indigenous diaspora? What are your tips for these women who want to change their life, who wants to get off the 9 to 5 hustle grid, right? And live a life of freedom, or as free as they can be? What are your tips?
Um, I would say staying in your body helps, right? So understanding what kind of emotional responses that you're having to different things, right? So where do you feel stress, right? Where do you feel anger? Where do you feel where you're upset inside your body? And using that to decide what you actually do like. So what brings you actual joy? What are you at rest doing? What makes you feel at peace? And then using that to kind of guide where you want to be, what you want to be doing with your life. If you're going into work every day and those people are stressing you out and you can feel it in your body, inflammation is a real thing. Okay.
Yes.
Inflammation is really taking a lot of people out. And it's over time you're developing all these conditions because like you don't realize you have chronic stress. So if you're going into work every day and you have these migraines and you have like this back pain, or you know you don't even realize what is going on with you internally because you haven't been inside your body, you haven't felt it. So I would say focus on being in there, being in your emotions, feeling your emotions, and then understand what you do enjoy, right? A lot of people don't even know what they like. They just go through the motions. Like, do you like going to museums? Do you like being on the beach? Have you been on the beach? What kind of things do you enjoy? And then I think whether you're planning a journey abroad or you're just planning the rest of your life or what you want your life to look like, it helps if you have these examples of like things that you enjoy doing, that you like doing, right? As opposed to what you don't like doing. I think we sometimes get so stuck in this hamster wheel of like life and expectations that we place on ourselves that we aren't really living. We aren't really thinking about things that we like to do, things that we enjoy. So I think if you can get as close as possible to just that feeling of fulfillment, then you're on the right track. Did I answer that
I
question?
agree. You did. You answered the question and more. And um, when you talk about, identifying that what makes you happy, tapping into your passion, the next step would be to think about ways then you can create a life from that passion, right? From diving into that passion, from doing the things that you like. Think about ways that you can create some income so you can leave that 9 to 5 and begin to change the trajectory of your life. That would be the next step.
Mhm.
Um, and then finding a community of like-minded people, like-minded women who have that same idea, who want to live a free life, who are stepping off of the hustle grid to explore their dreams. That's why I would like for you, if you are here and if you see this video, to like and subscribe. This is a space like that. This is a space that inspires you to make that change, to make that transition, to take that leap into whatever new life that you would like to do. So, yes, if you enjoyed this conversation, if you enjoyed talking to Keyoka about her copywriting and travel life, then, hit the like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. I would appreciate it, and it will benefit you as well. Kyoko, hello. I am so glad that you decided to join me today. I am excited about my first live. I'm thankful for everyone who decided to come and join us today. We went a little over, but I appreciate the conversation. She says so many people do not know exactly the words of freedom or joy actually mean to us personally. Yes, yes. Find a community who of women who are trying to find this together. Find a community of people who are working towards this goal to release the shackles, to unburden your shoulders. Find this community. You can start here. You can start with Exodus Summit, and you can start by following Keyoka on at Awkward Black Nomad, her YouTube channel, and following me. Is there anything that we have not touched on that you would like to touch on, lady?
I think we did. We covered a lot. We did a lot. This was phenomenal.
We did.
We did a thing.
Oh, we will have little hint. We are both writers. We are both readers. We have. We will announce soon our virtual book club. We have not chosen a book. We don't know how we're doing this, but we both like to read, and we both realize that we do not have enough reading time or a community to encourage us to do so. So we be on the lookout for that announcement. The book club, we don't have a name for it, but we about to do it before, since it's settling into autumn, since we are coming.
Cozy season.
Yes, it's cozy season.
Yes. If you guys have any suggestions on books that we should be reading or books that you would like to read with us, put them in the comment section.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know.
Yes. Books that you haven't read that you would like to read, or books that you feel are your favorites that you think other people should be onto. Yes. Let us know. Thank you again. I'm so thankful.
I feel honored to be here for the first live.
Yes. And I'm so glad it's over. Yes. So
We're taking
just sit down somewhere. Thank you, lady. Stay on
for a bit.
Bye, guys.